So, who's the most forgotten character in Bluey? Winton, please. That kid's basically part of the wallpaper by now. Pretzel? He doesn't speak less. He's ghosted us harder than your crush who swears they're just busy. But nope, those aren't the ones. Because the real answer is Pom Pom. Tiny, cheerful Pom Pom, shrunk so small the show almost erases her. Every wide shot, she's cut down to a speck. Every group scene, she's vanishing in plain sight. And the cruel part? The joke isn't that she's small, it's that she's invisible. That's the sting. Pom Pom isn't forgotten because she's quiet. She's forgotten because Bluey makes her disappear. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it.
Stop!
Look closer. Rusty doesn't just play soldiers, he is one. Boots pounding, orders barked, drills repeated like a heartbeat. For every kid, play is imagination. For Rusty, it's duty. Rewind to Army. See that face? That's not a kid playing soldier. That's a 6-year-old doing unpaid emotional labor. That grin, gone. Replaced with the I'm fine face every adult wears to work after crying in the parking lot. Because Rusty isn't pretending. He's rehearsing. His dad's off serving in the real army, and Rusty's stuck saluting shadows, like a kid trying to high-five a ghost. Here's the sting adults feel, but kids miss. Every game is armor. Every march, every command, every stick he turns into a rifle. That's not fun. That's patchwork for the silence at dinner, the empty chair at sports day, the voice on the phone instead of in the room. Fans caught it. Rusty never breaks character. Not once. The other kids drift in and out of the game, giggling, distracted. But Rusty locked in. Because for him, stepping out of the soldier shell means the truth rushes in. Dad's not here. And here's the twist that lands hardest. Toughness is just grief in disguise. Rusty doesn't cry. He drills, he doesn't complain, he commands, he doesn't collapse, he salutes. That's not resilience, that's survival dressed up in camouflage. And this is where it stops being Rusty and starts being us. Military kids know this script too well, growing up too fast, learning discipline before joy, carrying pride and ache in the same breath. Childhood exchanged for waiting. Rusty's salute isn't just for his dad, it's for himself. A boy standing at attention, praying the uniform he stitched from playtime will hold long enough to keep his heart from breaking. Pause the frame. Coco isn't just the pink poodle with the bubbly laugh. She's obsessed with winning. She cheats, she pushes, she rage quits. That's not play, that's panic with glitter on top. Here's the part that makes adults shift in their seats. Coco's scar is control. Her wide grin isn't joy, it's armor. And the second she loses, the mask fractures. And for one beat, the real Coco, the one terrified of slipping behind, steps through. Rewatchers caught it. Coco doesn't play along. She clings to the rules like a life raft. When the game bends, she breaks. That's not bossiness. That's the anxiety of someone who believes losing makes her invisible. The kids see comedy. Adults see a burnout blueprint. Perfectionism doesn't wait for the office job or the exam hall. Sometimes it starts at 6 years old, baked into every giggle, every tantrum, every no, that's not fair. If you've ever ground yourself into dust not to win but because losing felt like vanishing, you know Coco's panic smile. It's not about trophies, it's about survival in a game only she thinks she's losing. And here's the twist that stops being Coco and starts being us. How many of us wore that same mask growing up? Forced smiles at birthday parties, competitive games that felt like judgment trials. Perfectionism isn't a poodle quirk, it's a lifelong cage disguised as ambition. Coco's cracks aren't flaws, they're signals. Childhood shouldn't feel like a burnout training camp. But for Coco, every game is a test, and every test is one mistake away from her smile collapsing.
Why?
'Cause you're longer.
Aw, I hate being a sausage dog.
Look again. Snickers isn't just the walking breadstick gag. He's the kid whose body makes him the punchline before he even opens his mouth. That goofy shape, it writes the jokes for him. We laugh when he waddles. We laugh when he gets body slammed by a balloon like it's WWE for toddlers. But look closer. That sigh after, that's not comic timing. That's emotional defeat in 3 seconds or less. The slump, the silence, That's a kid realizing he's the background character in his own playdate. "I'll never keep up," his face says. "So maybe I'll just step aside." Yeah, same, buddy. Some of us call that group projects in adulthood. And here's the gut punch. He never complains. He absorbs it. That's the real silence. Not words unsaid, but worth unclaimed. Think about it. How many of us learn to preempt the sting by making ourselves the joke first? I'm slow, I'm awkward, I'm weird. See, I said it, now you don't have to. It's armor, but armor gets heavy. Flip to the playground. Bluey, Bingo, Coco, Lucky. They run, they tumble, they shine. Snickers lingers, orbiting the fun like he's got weights on his ankles. He isn't absent, he's present enough to be forgotten. Snickers isn't just background comedy, he's the last kid picked, the sidekick of a game he can't play, the quiet proof that being invisible hurts worse than being mocked. And maybe that's why he lands so hard for adults, because we've all been there. The body that betrays you, the silence that feels safer than asking to belong. Snickers doesn't crash loudly like Muffin, he just fades. He's not Bluey's funniest friend, he's her saddest shadow, carrying the ache of every kid who learned that silence is easier than being laughed at. Take a closer look. Lucky isn't just the golden retriever kid chasing fun. He's the boy who never actually catches it. The ball, the spotlight, the win, always just out of reach. We cheer when he sprints across the field. We laugh when he dives after the balloon. But watch carefully. His story is a reel of almosts. Almost the hero, almost the star, almost enough. That's not comedy, that's quiet heartbreak. And the cruelest part, he never seems to notice. Or maybe he does, and that wide grin is how he hides it. Because hopelessness doesn't always mean tears. Sometimes it's running full speed with a smile, knowing deep down the finish line will move every time you get close. Go back to cricket. Bandit's giving Bluey motivational speeches like she's training for the Olympics of emotional growth. Meanwhile, Lucky's out there doing cardio for character development he's never gonna get. His dad's cheering, sure, but it's the kind of cheer that says, "I'm proud of you, but mostly of myself." And Lucky, he never gets his big moment, just background applause for someone else's story. For kids, it's funny. For adults, it's brutal, because we've all been lucky, chasing that dream, that person, that almost, until you realize you're just running in circles. Lucky isn't chasing the ball, he's chasing closure, and yet he doesn't stop. He keeps running, keeps smiling, keeps showing up. That's not clueless, that's stubborn courage. Lucky may never be first, but he's proof that even the runners-up can be quietly heroic. Pause here. Pom Pom bounces into the story like a firecracker in fur. The tiny Pomeranian with big energy, ready to play, ready to belong. But blink and she's gone. Not just small in size, small in narrative. Here's the sting. Pom Pom's cuteness is her camouflage. We laugh, "Oh, she's tiny, how funny." But tiny isn't just adorable, it's invisible. Pom Pom's not in the game. She's orbiting it like a tiny moon begging the planets to notice her. Go back to markets. Watch closely. When she joins in, it's not playtime, it's survival. She's jumping, squeaking, doing parkour for relevance, just to stay in the shot. Everyone else gets the spotlight. Pom Pom just gets cropped out. Cute? Sure. Until you realize she's every one of us at a party, laughing too loud just to prove we belong. Kids leap, chase, play. She's swallowed by the scene, like the camera forgot she was even cast that day. That wasn't a joke. That was the writers spelling it out. Adults feel this deep cut. The family photos where you're half blocked, the conversations where your voice gets drowned, the jobs where you're the extra in someone else's spotlight. How many of us grew up pom-poms, so forgettable the room could lose you in plain sight? And that's why her vanishing act lands so hard. Because it isn't a gag about size. It's a mirror for invisibility, the ache of being there, but never fully seen. Pom Pom isn't just forgotten in Bluey. She's the ghost of every kid and every adult who learned that sometimes being small means being invisible. So maybe Bluey isn't just about funny games and wacky voices. Maybe it's about the Rusties who play tough to cover pain, the Cocos who win to avoid losing, the Snickers who laugh at themselves to survive, the Luckies who almost but never quite shine. And then there's Pom Pom, the tiniest, most invisible of them all. The character was forgotten not because she failed, but because she was never really seen. What do you think? Did Bluey hide Pom Pom's sadness on purpose, or did the show itself forget her? Tell me below, and don't go anywhere, because the next character we're about to uncover, their pain makes Pom Pom's look like a warm-up.